shots that I take, about the ankles I break, about the hits that I make, it's just more to the game. It's more to the game. It's just more to the game. It's just more to the game.
Cool.
When was the last time you hooped?
Since I scored 60. Yeah, like I'll shoot with my kids every now and then, but in terms of playing.
Yeah, you know, that's, you know, whenever we speak, it's amazing to me how you make no apologies for the fact that you really don't miss it anymore. You put in your time, it's enough. You don't miss it. It's rare that you hear that from somebody.
I know, it's strange.
Yeah, it is strange.
Give it your own.
It's strange, but it's a blessing, right? I mean, the thing, you know, when you grow up playing a game your whole life, and this is what you identify yourself with the whole time, it's very hard to find something else, you know? And I've been very fortunate and very blessed to have a passion that I love every bit as much as playing basketball. And so when that happens, I'm extremely fortunate. But for the young guys coming up, as you're going through your career, it's important that you start looking for things that you are equally as passionate about. Because when that music stops and the game is over, and you're just trying to figure it out after, you're already too late.
The D'Antoni system wasn't working for the personnel. You kind of took over the situation, played 45 minutes a game or whatever it was, willed the team into the playoffs in the second half, but the Achilles went. And it reminded me of John Henry, right? He had to beat the steam drill, but his body fell apart.
Right.
So what's the story there? Did I tell that story right, or do you have a different story to tell?
Let's see, I probably, Icarus comes to mind, I think.
Too close to the sun on borrowed wings?
I mean, you're going. I'm on borrowed time. Got too close to the sun and my Achilles popped. How about that?
Kobe.
And if your Achilles hadn't popped, what do you imagine your career would have ended like?
It wound up being a blessing in disguise for me, because when the Achilles tear happened, it really woke me up into saying, okay, your career could come to an end now. Then what are you going to do? I've been thinking and planning. I say, okay, no, now I need to start putting things into action. I can't sit back passively because this can be over now. And then what are you going to do?
Like, you know, when Magic retired, he went into business, and it was like a variety of businesses.
Sure.
And you right away, we heard he basically wants to be Steven Spielberg. Like, you know, he wants to make things. Why content creation for you?
You know, I fell into writing at a very early age. I had a great teacher in high school, Little Marion, Jane Mastriano, who taught speaking arts and how to write structure and all these other things. And I just fell in love with it. And so when I first came into the league, I started writing my own commercials and started working on storytelling. And so then when I retired, I knew exactly what my passion was going to be. And so I fell right into that. And I think as athletes and as people, all we can do is just follow what we enjoy doing the most and see where that leads.
You were an abnormal competitor. So if it's not a championship, it's a wasted season, right? And that's why you won 5 championships, one of the reasons.
He was in his muse cave.
What is the championship for you now? Because now you're in a subjective, right? You're trying to create content and things that's more artistic and creative, and not, they're on the same kind of objective measurement of how you're doing. So what's your championship now?
Well, it's the reactions from families. I see families say, finally, I can sit down with my son, and messages that I've been teaching him this whole time, he's finally understanding and digesting through this content. That's a championship to me.
Is there an ultimate goal in line here? And if so, what is it?
Yeah, to keep getting better. To keep getting better, you know, from project to project. You know, we have a very close-knit family of producers that we work with to try to bring the content to life. And we just want to get better from project to project. That's all.
What I want to know is, when you have former players, whether it's aspiring to be a coach, which ain't you, an executive, or an owner, at least on an ownership level, does that intrigue you? Does that interest you? Is that something? It depends on what?
Depends. You know, my passion is storytelling, and I can't go away from that. This is what I love to do. I mean, this is what I get excited about waking up every single morning to do.
What's the story that you tell to yourself about yourself?
Well, did I give everything I absolutely had to this game? Yes, I did. Right? And so that is the most important thing. The rankings, all of that stuff is inconsequential. You know, rankings come and go, opinions change, it doesn't matter. Right? When you can look yourself in the mirror and say, did I give everything I could? Did I do everything possible to try to get better? If the answer is yes,
But don't you have an aspiration for people to see what you saw? Whatever that is. Like I remember one time you reminded me, excuse me, do you realize what I had to do this year when I didn't have X, Y, and Z? You did pay attention to those kind of things.
Well, man, at the time, yes.
Yeah.
You know, as you mature and you get older, you understand, listen, it's not about that. It really isn't. Right? What you do is you do what you can with what you have. You know, everybody's path has a different narrative, right? You try to walk yours to the best of your ability and let the dust settle where it may. You know, at the end of the basketball breakdown, when I say, you know, reading the game will make you a good player, understanding what you're reading will make you a great player. But if you can write the game that others read, you become a champion, right? And that's a different level of understanding where you're not reacting to situations, but you're the one creating the situations that others react to, right? That is the whole key.
Kobe.